Meet Chloe and Christian. Chloe was a whirlwind of trouble. At 16, she'd already been kicked out of 3 schools. Stealing, drinking, smoking, you name it, she'd probably done it. Her parents were at their wits' end. Then there was Christian, a year older, but just as lost. Anger was his biggest problem. He'd lash out, break things, talk back, a real handful. Both these teenagers were headed for disaster. Something had to change. Enter world's strictest parents. This show took troubled teens and dropped them right into the middle of strict families. The hope that a dose of discipline and tough love would set them straight. For Chloe and Christian, their destination was a remote ranch in Montana. Picture rolling hills, horses, grazing, and a family that lived life the old-fashioned way. This wasn't going to be a vacation. The Worth family, led by Zach and Patty, believed in hard work and respect. No nonsense allowed. Chloe and Christian were in for a rude awakening. Their days of easy living were over. The Worth Ranch wasn't your fancy dude ranch. This was the real deal. Zach and Patty worked that land with their 2 daughters, Maria and Anna. Everyone pitched in, no exceptions. Chloe and Christian, used to sleeping in and goofing off, were in for a shock. The rooster's crow was their new alarm clock. First chore, mucking out stalls, not exactly glamorous. Chloe wrinkled her nose at the smell, while Christian dragged his feet, but Zach wasn't having it. "This is how we do things here," he said, his voice firm. "You work hard, you earn respect." Chloe and Christian grumbled, but they got to work. They had a feeling this was just the beginning. The days were long and filled with unfamiliar tasks: milking cows, mending fences, herding cattle. Chloe and Christian were learning the true meaning of sweat equity. It wasn't easy. They complained, they argued, they tested the limits. But Zach and Patty held firm. Every day, a little bit of the city slicker was being rubbed off on these two. Life on the ranch wasn't just about chores. It was about values: honesty, respect, responsibility. These weren't just words to the Worth family, they were a way of life. Chloe and Christian, used to getting away with things, were learning the hard way that actions had consequences. One day, Chloe tried to sneak out. She figured, how hard could it be to outsmart a bunch of farmers? Pretty hard, it turned out. Zach caught her red-handed. No yelling, no drama, just a disappointed shake of the head and a new chore added to her list. The message was clear: you break the rules, you face the music. Christian, meanwhile, was struggling with his temper. One frustrating afternoon, he blew up, kicking a fence and yelling at the top of his lungs. Patty, usually so patient, stood her ground. "We don't solve problems with anger," she said calmly. "Use your words, not your fists." Christian stormed off, but deep down he knew she was right. Section 4. Horses and Hard Truths. Just when things were at their toughest, Patty introduced Chloe and Christian to something unexpected: horses. These weren't just animals to the Worths, they were partners, friends. Patty believed that horses could teach you a lot about yourself. Chloe, surprisingly, took to it right away. She loved the feeling of freedom as she rode through the fields, taking care of the horses, grooming them, talking to them. It brought out a softer side of her. Christian, initially hesitant, found himself drawn to the horse's quiet strength. One evening, as they were unsaddling after a long ride, Patty shared a story about a wild horse she'd once tamed. "It took patience," she said, "and understanding. You can't force a horse to do anything. You have to earn their trust." Chloe and Christian exchanged glances. They knew deep down that Patty wasn't just talking about horses.
You know, Watching Chloe and Christian with those horses, I expected to see a whole new side of them. They were learning so much more than just riding. For me, it was sad that Chloe would say that she wasn't sure the experience changed her, and that we would have to look forward to that. However, it appears Christian did turn a new leaf.
Animals can teach us, isn't it? But it doesn't mean we change for good. Therefore, catch them young and let the stony hearts be turned to flesh through the finished work of Christ.
Stop imitating the ideals and opinions of the culture around you, but be inwardly transformed by the Holy Spirit through a total reformation of how you think. This will empower you to discern God's will as you live a beautiful life, satisfying and perfect in His eyes. God can really transform us if we surrender to Him.
Strong-willed and defiant teenagers need both discipline and connection. If we would parent world changers, we need to be changed from the inside out ourselves.
Chloe and Christian had experiences in ways they never expected. Remember, every misbehavior is communicating something. No child is bad. I hope that they had learned to trust, to care, and to find strength in unexpected places. What have you learned from this story? Now leave an honest answer in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the World Changer Parenting channel and watch the recommended video that you see on the screen.